Do you know how quartz and granite are made? They mine the entire mountain down to nothing, and the quartz is blown into tiny little bits. They sift out the fine materials that are then mixed with resin into a slurry with binders and fillers to create giant slabs that are then cut and polished. Quartz countertops are high-end surfaces and have the most expensive price tag that then an installer has to go out, template it, cut it to size, polish the edges, and install it all, seam it together. You're always going to be able to see that seam. Another downside is that they can stain and burn. For example, if you put a hot pan on it, it burns. And if that happens, it ain't easy to fix. The only option you have at that point is to get an entirely new countertop or cover it with stone coat epoxy. I was paid thousands of dollars to figure out how to polish out shoe prints. I installed quartz and granite and other high-end surfaces for years, over a decade. And one time on the job site, this painter walked across my brand new white counters I just installed to tape off a pendant light because he was about to spray that house. The painter should have covered up my countertop before he walked all over it. Actually, never walk on your countertops, but that's just another day on the job site. The builder asked me how on earth can we get this out and if I could do my best to fix it. I threw everything I knew at it, but I could not get the marks out. We couldn't leave the tops in that condition. They were ruined. He asked what his options were. I hopped onto the old Google and searched how to fix quartz countertops that are stained. And I came across this polishing system. It was a 2-day course taught by a professional, the actual, inventor of this. So the builder sent me to that course and he paid for it. He paid $1,500 for it. After the course, I had the skills to polish quartz and other man-made countertops, and let me tell you, it's not easy. Way harder than polishing granite. I also learned that there's no polishing out a burn. That's a no-go. That is ruined. So I went back to the job site and spent 10 hours removing shoe prints and matching the sheen to the quartz perfectly. It cost the builder another $1,500 in my labor. He spent $3,000 to save, spending 7 racks to replace the whole quartz countertop job. A much more affordable and DIY friendly version would to be apply a layer of stone coat countertop epoxy right over the existing damaged surface. Our epoxy and top coat system is extremely heat, scratch, stain, and UV resistant. We teach people to treat your epoxy countertops just like any other countertop surface and not to set really hot things on it or cut directly on it. Stone coat epoxy countertops will stand the test of time and the daily use and abuse of any residential or commercial kitchen environment. And the best part of all, you're gonna save thousands renewing your old countertop surfaces, doing it yourself. Subscribe to the channel right now. We teach you how to work with everything epoxy step by step. And for this project, I started with some white tinted epoxy, and using just a small amount of black dye, I made a custom gray epoxy color. I made this stunning countertop finish by laying out the epoxy colors randomly, then helped meld and marbleize the epoxy with my gloved hands and the magic trowel. I laid down some small accent fracture lines and added beautiful blue accent color. Using different epoxy countertop techniques adds layers of realism that brings the project to the next level. Creating small fracture lines with that magic trowel or misty 91% isopropyl alcohol ties it all together. If these colors aren't your cup of tea, follow along with the techniques I show using the colors you love. Have a favorite throw pillow? Match that bad boy in your countertops. Here I'm prepping the cured epoxy the next day for the ultimate top coat. I'll be putting this epoxy countertop to the same testing I did on that quartz top. Lightly sand the epoxy with 220 and clean the dust. Mix up the top coat at a 2-to-1 ratio right after you thoroughly shake part A. Add 1 to 2 ounces of water to thin and you're ready to apply. I let this project cure about a week before I did my testing. I heated up that cast iron to super hot. I don't recommend cooking eggs on your epoxy countertop, but if you do, don't sweat it. It's not gonna melt, it's not gonna crack and fracture. You're good to go. I'm gonna do the wine and coffee test. I'll let it sit overnight, come back and test the results. Well, coffee and wine test passed. It passed the burn test. The quartz failed all 3 of those tests. The best way to clean your cured epoxy countertops with the ultimate top coat on it is I like the microfiber rag and just like a dish soap. The next level up from that, you would use a blue Scotch-Brite sponge, like a kitchen sponge. Don't want to use those green ones. Just like the green ones will score your metal pans, there's a real aggressive, scrubbing on those green-backed Scotch-Brite sponges.
So stick with the blue ones when going over that epoxy countertop. All right, 91% isopropyl alcohol is the next level up. If you have a stubborn material on your countertops not wanting to come off, saturate it with a little 91% or rubbing alcohol, let it sit, take your microfiber rag, wipe it right off. The next level up, if you have something stubborn, maybe like Kool-Aid, something like that you did it clean up and it sat and dried overnight, totally awesome cleaner from the Dollar General. Keep that in your back pocket. It's a really good cleaner overall for your whole home, but it's a super duper amazing stain puller ripper outer over our epoxy. Homemade cleaners such as vinegar and water, stuff like that, totally safe to use. You want to avoid using bleach every single day, but you definitely can wipe down the top from time to time with some bleach, but stay away from the Clorox bleach wipes every day. That's not good for any countertop surface. I wouldn't make an everyday practice out of setting or cooking your eggs right on top of your countertop, but you saw for yourself that hot pan will not destroy your epoxy countertops. It's not going to melt right down to the wood. This stuff is tough.